Hello viewers, this is Machuka Nyarieko TV, where we analyze socio-economic and political ways of our people from the level of local, national and international. And today I want us to focus on the ongoing debate concerning Gachagua, who is our deputy president, in relation to his position come the year 2027, when we are expected to have our national general elections. But before I do that, kindly, if you are watching this video for the first time, subscribe so that whenever we produce another video, YouTube will automatically notify you. And for those who are our subscribers, thank you so much and continue watching, and it is through your support that we are thriving. Back to our topic. Of course, there has been debates over our deputy president, who is the second in command, regarding Gachagua, because of the wrangles which began slowly and now they are taking the center stage. They are actually hijacking the development of our state. Today I want us to mainly focus on what is likely to happen to him after these unfolding events. What is likely to happen to him? Of course, there are four options that are remaining for Rigathi Gachagua. Four options which I'm going to tackle one after the other. Kindly stay tuned so that you don't miss these noble ideas and you will not regret. The first option that Rigathi Gachagua has after the noises, the conflict in his party, is to be on the parrot come the year 2027. That is, to be ready to unseat his boss. If we go by that option, what should Gachagua do between now and the year 2027 or 2026? One, he should not leave the government. He should work in the government that he was elected by the people of Kenya. He should work together with the government, that's William Ruto, so that he can get the resources, so that he can have the security that is given to the deputy president between now and 2027. Because if he leaves the office, if he is threatened by this young man and he leaves the office, it means that he will miss a number of privileges that accompany his office. A good example is when the deputy president, who is currently the president, was denied audience or an opportunity by the former president, because he remained in the government up to the last minute. He was able to acquire most of the privileges that accompany his office. So it will be very wrong for Gachagua not to work with the government to the last day if he wants to be the president. But working with the government, that does not mean that he loses touch with the common man. He must have touch with the common man. The second point is that he must not support unpopular policies that are put by the government if he wants to be the next president come the year 2027. He must appear not to support them if they are unpopular, especially to these rich food areas, Mount Kenya, and those people in the diaspora. So that is the second point. That he must maintain his rich food areas and attract swing foods. By maintaining rich food areas, it means that he has to cultivate the Mount Kenya, the people of Mount Kenya in the diaspora, not just by discriminating others, but by protecting their interest in all ways and means at whatever cost. Because the people have got the numbers. He only needs a few swing areas to make it to the seat. So the second point is to ensure that he has protected the food rich or the traditional food areas, of course, which is Mount Kenya, Embu, and Meru. Next point, he has to make inroads to swing vote areas. Swing vote areas can be places like the coast if we shall not be having a presidential candidate, Kisii, and the Western people are so democratic such that you cannot put their votes in one basket. Despite the fact that today there is a movement that is coming up by the name Tawe movement, which seems to be bringing those people, especially the young people, to it, similar as the Hasra narrative did it in 2022. So he should target swing vote areas if he wants to shame his post come 2027. He must also be everywhere, not just in Mount Kenya. He must go to Kisii, be accepted, such that the people of Mount Kenya will automatically come in. They'll be questioning themselves if Gachagua can go to Kisii and be received like a mayor or a king. What a shame are we bringing to him? And by that, the external influence, maybe if he went to Northeastern and he was received as a king, automatically the home forts will build themselves. That, I mean, next, he has learned from the previous administrations that once you are supported by your president, cannot win. Moi supported Uhuru. Mike Kibaki had some interests. Uhuru also supported his, and they all rose. And there is now that new option that when some extent you don't agree with your pose on arrogant issues, you make it, just as Ruto made it. You make it. The simple way in which made Ruto to make it is that he had an open door policy whereby MPs, members of parliament, including these young members of parliament, were able to work with him all over the republic. So he should open doors for members of parliament from Mount Kenya, from any other region of Kenya. It should be free. If a member of parliament has a problem, he has to run like a child to assist him so as to win the loyalty of these young people. And we also have very young members of parliament who have not accumulated wealth. They will be so happy to be working with him. They will be more than happy to be working with him on development projects. So he should also encourage them. He should make friendship to these young men, because the young generation is soon taking over. So should make sure that the young people who are members of parliament are with him, just a few who can be taking him all over the Republic of Kenya. So he must be everywhere. His speech must be vetted. His speech must be vetted. The other day I said that Gachagua was found of screaming everywhere. Even if something small passes by, you could see him screaming, despite the fact that he has reformed. I can say in the last 8 months, he has controlled free himself the status of a deputy president. Next, Rigathi Gachagua must reach out veteran politicians like the former president. Of course, he has extended a hand. He has to reach to Mama Ngina Kenyatta. Mama Ngina Kenyatta is the mother of Mount Kenya, even though she don't come out openly and speak. He has to ensure that he takes maybe uji in the morning there, so that he can maybe tell his son to go slow. He must reach out to other members of veteran politicians like Peter Kenneth from Central Province, and of course give him reasons as why they should work together, because Peter Kenneth right now is outside and is not very happy that the rest are consuming, the rest are eating, while he's actually working without. He has to swallow his pride and lead to wazees like Murathe. Some of these wazees, once you reach them, they will only be satisfied that you recognize them and you understand that they have also the political power. You have to recognize them if at all you want to be the president come the year 2027. You must also not forget to protect citizens, not only in Mount Kenya. You must also not forget to protect the citizens, not only in Mount Kenya, but everywhere in the state of Kenya, so that you do not have enemies. A person may decide not to vote for you, not because you are his enemy, but because he finds the other person more closer. But if you make enemies, it becomes very difficult even when you conduct your rallies, even if you will have 1,001 security officers. So you should also learn to be, how do we call it? You should learn not to be loved but not hated. Not to be loved, that's a Machiavellian term. Learn not to be loved but not hated. So you don't need people to love you, to tell you you are doing what, no. But what you should ensure is that people should not hate you, because a person who hates you will not reach in the ballot box and your image change him to vote for you, because there are some people or many people make decisions while they are voting there, leaving these other things. So you must also be able to protect citizens, as I had mentioned, all over the republic, because of you have to protect your core areas and the swing areas. There are those areas that you will go and pick votes. Equally, there is no any other place whether you have your opponent that you must not stay. You have to be there. And that is what we call leadership. You must appear to be a national leader. Just avoid some funny words like you cannot not get to State House because I will be there with an maybe I will be taking care of the State House. No one steps there. Who told you that the person you are stopping not to get to State House did not vote for you because it was sacred? How do you know whether even maybe it is Rairom you are trying to prevent from accessing State House, he mistakenly voted for you? Voting is a sacred in Kenya. Therefore, if we have 30 people and you get 21 votes, you may find that your personal assistant is the one who has not voted for you because you refused him money in the morning on the day of election. And the person whom you are closing out is the person who voted for you. And with your perception, you know it comes from an opposition side. Therefore, that idea of saying that these areas, those areas do not vote for me, I will stop them because they are from a different party. Parties are your vehicles. They have no ideologies. Like more political parties in Africa, more specifically these ones for Kenya, have no ideologies. They are notes. If they have ideologies, the promises we were given by Kenya Kwanza could be on the stages of fulfilling them. You have seen what is taking place in the Republic of Kenya right now. What people wanted, what people voted for, is different from what they are receiving. I think I mentioned the idea of controlled or fated speech. Your speech must be fated. No one will fate your speech for you unless you and you alone. Because even if they write for your speech, you have to give some comments. From those comments is what is most important. That is what the news reporters will pick, not what has been written. So you must have a controlled speech which is tolerant, not only to your supporters, but to the opposition. That is, if you will be in the ballot box in 2027. Of course, you have the numbers. No one is disputing. You are a force to reckon with. Another way in which you can survive this tragedy that is facing you is to remain in solidarity with your boss. You can decide to remain with your boss, but with the following conditions. 1. You must control or shorten your speech. You were a DO during the Nyayo's time, and you saw how the president was ever introduced. I said it yesterday. There are only few things that you can say. Maybe with this Madaraka Day, which is tomorrow, you will talk of the significance of Madaraka Day, how it has been celebrated, and simply say that because Kenyans are eagerly waiting for His Excellency the President, for who is the chief guest, whose day belongs, you will not have much to speak because it is his day. This is Africa. In Africa, you must behave as other Africans do. Your speech must be less than 2 minutes, because since you are sitting or seated with the president time and again, you will preempt his speech such that when he stands there, he's actually making a replica of your speech. So it should be less than 1 minute or 2 minutes. Also, you also come from somewhere. You come from Mount Kenya, despite the fact that you are the deputy president. No, you must be supported from home. There are several promises you went around and made to the people of your region, which have now made them to rebel against you. Make sure the promises have been retrieved. Remember that you have been put on the sector of much of the farming activities like tea, coffee, milk, macadamia, to reform them. This is a trap on you. Already the people of Mount Kenya are saying that you are just put there as a puppet. So make sure what you agreed with them, if it was on to cut down the cartels and increase the prices, that one must be done. The people of Mount Kenya are people of deals. Failure to do according to the deal, they will square you come 2027. They will not care that you are with His Excellency the President. They will just square. They will leave you alone. Just you have to fulfill the promises or appear to fulfill them, but you shouldn't appear because you are in positions. You should have to at least go past 70%, so that maybe by 2027 you will tell them, you will convince them, you see, we went halfway. And then we lost. And they probably ensure that, because you are second in command, ensure that people are in positions that they can be able to deliver. For example, Moses Kuria was in a portfolio that he was able to deliver. That is in the Ministry of Trade, where he was working with industrial parks. Since then, since he was moved, I am not sure whether there is anything to do with industrial parks. Where you put him is very controversial to him. If possible, you should negotiate. You don't care that is your opponent back at home. You should negotiate so that he goes back to a place where he was capable. Even someone could think that is Moses Kurio came up with the idea of industrial parks. They have stalled. We should go back there and leave workers alone. He was moving everywhere in Kenya, or was he a threat because he was moving everywhere in Kenya performing his duties? So you should also make sure that has been done, because going back to convince the people of Mount Kenya, you will be narrating what you have done in the previous 4 years, especially, or bearing in mind they are farmers. Another option that is for you, you can go with the opposition. We have people like Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa. There are many people outside who are not eating with you. Those who are not eating with you, remember that those people, all of them are in opposition. They are not happy when you are eating. No one is happy. That's why in another episode I told you that you have several enemies. Don't oversleep. So if you decide that you are moving with the opposition, you should also provide some kind of resistance, some smooth kind of resistance to this regime, whereby you don't appear to be in the government, you don't appear to be outside. You have to provide, like now the financial bill is coming, you have to show good direction, not fake direction, because you know what is taking place. In most cases, the president cannot make a very good decision because of the proximity, the word proximity that you gave the people surrounding him. They will always tell him that this is the right thing, we want to transform the economy overnight. But when the president goes to United States of America, they don't tell him that people want to move from Kenya to America, go and negotiate for us. They're only looking for opportunities where they can have tenders. Because one of the specific agendas that we had put forward, or we wanted as Kenyans, the president to address in his trip to the United States, is for them to make better foreign or bilateral relations between Kenya and America, on where Kenyans can easily move to America. But have not. If they did so, they have just kept it under the desk. If they never did, that is what most Kenyans wanted addressed. Because most people are losing money in the American embassy. People are straining to travel to the US and other places because of the relations, the foreign affairs policy between Kenya and those other states. So I can say there were no proper discussions on the people relations. The trip was majorly on state relations. Another day, Musalia Mudavadi said People do not eat roads. But when he went to America, he brought us roads. It's a good idea, but he said it. If he was to bring the road, he was also to negotiate for better arrangements of the movement of the people from Kenya to the United States of America. So you have to provide some kind of mild resistance, just like they were saying that someone has been found with a mild COVID-19. Mild resistance to your government if you want to work with the opposition in the 2027 general election. Then you must not condone unpopular government policies. You must not condone unpopular government policies. Also, you must not appear to be cheap to the opposition. You must monitor them. Because you are from the government, if you are joining them, you are joining them with resources. And it's not just resources, but sufficient resources. Therefore, when talking to these groups of people, talk as an equal, not someone who has been sent away. And the last way that you can navigate these conflicts is not to appear totally in the 2027 general election. You can decide to go and be fasting in Mount Kenya. I saw you really come from just near Mount Kenya. You can be moving there, fast, go back to the house, and rest. But what you should not do is to be intimidated and resign. Never resign unless your conscience tells you to resign, because some things have happened which have not provided or which have not gone with your conscience and are affecting the people directly, not politicians. Politicians have just been put there by the people. Thank you so much.